When making an informational video for YouTube, it's really tempting to just hit record and start talking and make it up as you go. However, it helps both you and your video if you have some kind of a script to work from. In this episode, I'm going to show you a very simple video script format that will help you keep your videos on track and make them easier to produce. Writing a script can be daunting, especially if you don't think of yourself as a writer, but it shouldn't be that way. This isn't an English class. You're not getting graded on this. A script is just a way to collect your thoughts before you start recording. It lets you get all your ideas out there, remember what you want to say about them, and organize them in a way that makes sense before you go through the pressure of trying to do it live while the camera's recording. It's there to reduce your stress, not increase it. And for me personally, I feel a lot better knowing what I'm going to say before I hit record. And a script doesn't need to be a perfectly written word-for-word transcript of everything you're going to say in the video. It can be if that's what works for you, but it can also just be a rough outline of notes of the key points you want to hit. It can be as detailed or as vague as you need it to be. Some people might feel it's not as authentic to script something out before you say it, but that's a bunch of bullcrap. People rehearse what they're going to say before they say it all the time. Think of any great speaker in the history of humanity, and you can bet they took some notes before they opened their mouth in front of a bunch of people. There's nothing wrong with you doing the same. It's still you, it's still your words, it's your thoughts, it's your message. And if anything, scripting a video is actually more authentic because it lets you make sure that you're saying the thing that you want to say instead of just whatever random words happen to come out of your mouth when the camera turns on. The other thing that's really important is that your video should be visually dynamic. In most cases, you don't want to just talk to the camera the whole time because that can get boring really quickly. You want to take advantage of the power of video as a visual communication medium to illustrate your concepts visually to supplement the things that you're saying. For example, a moment ago when I said that great speakers prepare notes before they speak, I showed an image of Abraham Lincoln and his notes for the Gettysburg Address. That's not actually in the verbal script for this episode. Well, it is now, but it wasn't in that part. But I put it in the visual script to illustrate what I was talking about. So a video script shouldn't just be the words you're going to say, it should also be the visuals that you're going to show. So, how do you format a video script? When I first started scripting videos, I didn't know what else to do, so I kind of fell back on the classic screenplay format used in movies and TV. I'd taken a class on it and had written some screenplays before, so I had some experience with that. However, I quickly found that wasn't an ideal format for the kinds of videos I was making. It's a great format when you have multiple characters talking to each other and interacting with each other, but it's not really optimized for informational videos where you might only have one person talking and not a lot of dramatic action. It's also a little fussy, just dealing with fonts and centering and margins and all that stuff. I don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. So instead, I developed my own ingenious format for scripting videos, which it turns out is pretty much the exact same format that everyone else uses. Even if you've never seen a video script, if you make enough videos and start to realize what you need, you'll probably come up with this exact same thing. Basically, it works like this. It's a table with two columns. One column is for the things you see on screen, and one column is for the things that you hear. Most of my videos have a lot of talking, so I call the columns voice and visual. However, some people call them audio and video, some people call it picture and sound. You can call them whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. In one column, you'll put everything that'll be seen on the screen. So that can be a talking head, it can be a specific shot, it can be an action, it can be text on the screen, whatever you want to show. And you don't have to get really fancy with the cinematography jargon or anything. Just keep it really simple. And in the other column, you put all the things that you can hear. In an informational video, that's likely to be a voice track, but it can also be music, sound effects, or anything else that you have in there. And it really doesn't matter which order you put the columns in. For my videos, because it's based around the voice track, I usually put that first and then base the visuals on that. Your videos might be based around the visuals, so maybe you put the visual column first and describe what happens there, and then you have a secondary column for all the sound effects that go along with it. And it really doesn't matter what tool you do this in. You can do this in a word processor like Google Docs or Word. You can do it in a spreadsheet program. You can even be a barbarian and write it down on paper. Once I have the column set up and start filling it out, I usually put in a new row each time something significant changes. If there's a new topic or a new visual, I usually put in a new row just to keep things nice and neat. There aren't any firm rules for this, but it's generally easier to keep things organized and lined up if you break it into new rows frequently. If all this was helpful to you, be sure to subscribe to this channel because I have some more videos planned on this subject, including what kinds of visuals you might want to put into a video script like this, as well as how to do a shot list and production plan based on a script breakdown. I was going to include those in this video, but I didn't. I'm James Archer and I make videos about making videos. If you're still watching this, be sure to leave a really random comment to confuse all the people who didn't watch this far. You're awesome.